Hello everyone, this is PrussianPrince with a special video. Fortunately, CA provided me with an early access key for GOTREK and Felix DLC, which I'm very happy about. Super appreciate it. Thanks to Creative Assembly for giving me these early access keys that they have been giving me recently since I went back to Warhammer 2. I very much appreciate it. I honestly didn't expect to get them since my channel is not that big, but you know, I'm actually very happy that they decided to give it to me. Anyway, let's get into the details. So what does the GOTREK and Felix DLC add? Well, it adds GOTREK and Felix into the game. You can actually use them as the Empire, the Dwarfs, or Bretonia. That's where those are the factions that have access to GOTREK and Felix. And also, how do you get it? Well, if you want to get it early, you can pre-order the White Dwarf magazine, which I will leave a link to in the description. But if you actually don't want to do that, I mean, you would get can basically get GOTREK and Felix DLC for free next month, I believe on the 17th of October. Going to be available on Total Access for free. But again, before then, if you want it, you can pre-order the White Dwarf magazine. Again, link is in the description. Just making sure you have all the information that you need. So let's have a look-see and see what we got here. I'm gonna start with Felix, actually. So he has some armor, some leadership, and not okay-ish speed, seems to be. And let's see what else. So I have 265 armor piercing and a bonus versus infantry, so that's very important to keep in mind. He also has some missile resistance and courage. And now there is this interesting ability that he has here. This is Blood Oath. So it has very low AoE, but it basically replenishes HP of units that are, well, either Lord or Hero within the AoE range, which is very important, by the way. You want to use this guy together with other Lords and Heroes, basically, because of this ability. So he can actually, you know, keep them alive much longer than normal. So it's quite an interesting unit to use in that regard. And also, besides that, there's another very good support ability, which again, you could use on a Lord or a Hero. Give them plus 44 melee attack or plus 44% damage resistance, which is a lot, really. Like, that is just massive right there. If you can engage something and then pop that on like someone else, I mean, you cannot target yourself, you have to target an ally with this. But yeah, that is indeed massive. So yeah, that is one ability. Then we do have the regular Foe Seeker and Deadly Onslaught. For items, we have the Karag Gul, which basically is fire damage imbued, gives him more attack and bonus versus infantry. You can cast this, of course. And that is going to be Felix. So basically, based on his stats, pretty decent against the infantry blobs. Now, for GOTREK, what does he have? Let's have a look see here as well. So, first of all, let's actually just take off all his abilities and items. So, stock, he costs 1100. You know, Felix actually costs 800. Now, what abilities does he have? He has Foe Seeker and Deadly Onslaught, regular stuff. And he also has Death Blow here, which does actually allow him to get more AP and weapon damage as his HP drops below 20%. Then we have the GOTREK's Doom here, which is a lot of melee defense and damage resistance. Now, that's curious because Helping Hand here gives also damage resistance. And also, instead of melee defense, it gives melee attack. So, it's very similar to this, actually. So, that would be a lot of damage resistance on GOTREK if you were to pop Helping Hand along with that other ability. Could definitely hold his own for a while. And last but not least on GOTREK, we have the Rune Axe of GOTREK. This gives you a ton of AP damage. And also, the issue is, though, that you do get some lower magic resistance. And of course, this is a very expensive ability, so not entirely sure if worth it. Probably this item, sorry, not ability, but item, probably not worth it, I would venture to say. Now, he is of course anti-large, and a big difference between these two is that GOTREK is unbreakable, Felix isn't. And there is yet another big difference. So you see GOTREK here, he has some physical no, magic resistance, my bad, compared to Felix, and there's no such thing on Felix. And there are some other important things to note, of course. So GOTREK has this ability right here, which is Heroic Fortitude. Basically what happens is that there's a pretty good possibility of him gaining HP when he drops below 10% HP, so that is something to keep in mind for sure. And yeah, like the thing is, because Felix is not unbreakable and also he's not immune to terror, leadership might be an issue for him, right? Because he's only got 70. And his armor is decent, it's not great, but if you look at GOTREK though, 0 armor, completely 0 here. So, you know, some regular weapon damage is absolutely going to hammer GOTREK, right? You don't really need AP against GOTREK. So, big blobs of, like, I guess regular units are going to do quite well against GOTREK. Now, well, I mean, GOTREK is basically anti-large and basically anti-single entity, right? So that is his main role. Whereas for Felix, you have him in an anti-infantry role, as it says here as well, anti-infantry. As he gets bonuses against infantry, so should use them for the roles that, you know, they're supposed to fill. But yeah, those are the stats of Felix and GOTREK. Again, GOTREK is actually quite fast for a dwarf. 42 speed is really, really fast, actually. So, and he actually has a bunch of charge bonus here. Look at that charge bonus. That is a pretty ridiculous charge bonus as well. So, yes. Alright then. I have one more thing to show you. And it is a special battle. We want to have... I mean, I should show you these guys in battle. So you can see how, like, how they actually perform. Because I think that... I mean, I'm not sure if you... Well, you definitely don't want to bring both of them in combat, I guess. So, I mean, not really. It just depends on the situation, but I guess in multiplayer, you're not really going to bring both. In single player, you could, but yeah. In multiplayer, it's just having like so many heroes on foot is like probably not the best choice, I guess. Anyway, in this particular replay, I do have GOTREK and Felix almost fully kitted out, but I believe they miss Onslaught, Deadly Onslaught, and Foe Seeker. Everything else they have. Actually, GOTREK does have Foe Seeker, but I didn't kit out Felix with it. On the opposing side, we have Malekith on his dragon. Also, Malekith does... I only gave him Soul Stealer, so he has no other ability. So the cheapest Malekith, which is basically around the same cost as Felix and GOTREK together. Now, we do have 2 Black Guards of Nagaron here, so, you know, this is a much more expensive army than what I'm using here. So GOTREK and Felix do even... You know, if they take out one of these and one of these, they've already done much more than they're supposed to. Anyway, though, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit and time to hit play. Here comes Malekith. He's gonna try and give us a good breath onto Felix, probably. And, you know, that's a good attempt, because Felix is not the guy who wants to fight against Malekith. Anyway, here we actually get attacked. I turn GOTREK around, but as you can see, the AI actually does target Felix. Because, you know, Felix is the weaker of the 2 here. But GOTREK is here. So he's going to start dishing out damage onto Malekith. But Soul Stealer is happening, and, you know, because of that, Felix is actually starting to lose HP. But I've popped all of GOTREK's abilities. And Felix too. But the thing is, look at that. Felix is already routed off the field, so this isn't great. But GOTREK is still fighting. The thing is, the abilities that I popped on him have actually done really poorly, because he's mostly been like just forced around, you know, like he's been staggered and stuff. Like he hasn't actually been able to fight all the time, but yeah, he gets staggered again. And here comes GOTREK. Should go in for another attack soon. Didn't get staggered then. Yeah, look at GOTREK, like actually fighting off a dragon here. And Felix is coming back for a rear charge. See who's actually doing the damage. Oh, those were some good hits there. So Felix missed, but GOTREK did not. And Felix hit again. This is very close here, but, you know, Malekith is going to end up losing because he's getting double teamed, and finally the Black Guards are coming in. But, you know, this was pretty even fight in terms of funds spent. And there goes Malekith. He is down. I do have Felix and GOTREK still up, so I'm going to send them in. What the Black Guard of Nagaron can do here. So GOTREK's going in with Foe Seeker. Nice charge. Very nice charge. But I mean, this is not where GOTREK wants to be. He's taking so much damage. I mean, Black Guards of Nagaron, I mean, these are really expensive, really tough units, so there's no way that they win here, but just looking at them doing okay-ish. Which they're doing, right? But like, this is really bad for Felix as well, even though he's does better at this. Like, this is not a situation where you want to be with any of them anyway. So here goes GOTREK. He's actually done some damage here, which is very surprising. Felix is also getting some kills, but you know, these Black Guards here are just like too much for these. Look at him. They attack so much and so fast. They're just too much for these. But I mean, like, look at this point. There's almost half. They're basically both at half health, actually. They're taking so much damage still. So the heals from Felix are actually doing fantastically well. But GOTREK is really dropping in HP though. And look at this. They might actually even end up winning this. And oh my god, GOTREK and Felix actually did it. Not only did they take down the not only did they take down Malekith, but they also managed to win against 2 Black Guards of Nagaron. So, and obviously it's not like the perfect test here because the AI didn't send in Black Guards along with Malekith, but you know, that would have been really more unfair, right? Because if they sent in the Black Guards, the funds disadvantage would have been too high for for me, right? For GOTREK and Felix. Whereas GOTREK and Felix together against Malekith, you know, that's basically the same funds. But, you know, and then they actually were able to do so much against the black cards, and, you know, probably would have been able to finish them off as well. Because look at how many of them died, and, you know, they're not that many, they won't do that much damage anymore, I guess, right? So, well, I guess there were still enough of them to do damage, but, you know, this means that even more of them would have died had they remained in there. So, definitely GOTREK and Felix doing really well here. And, yeah, I'm not one to judge because I don't have much experience in Warhammer 2 at the moment, but they really seem like, depending on, just like most things in Warhammer, depending on who you face, what you face, they're gonna be very, very good. So they definitely have like a spot. But if they're overpowered or not, I can't say. But you know, like I feel like they probably are not overpowered. Just from this first showcase. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, follow me on social media. See you all next time.